So we're at week 5 now. Bye weeks are starting. We're starting to get an idea of who the true contenders are. And we come to the realization that all the season predictions that we made mean absolutely nothing. What's going on, guys? Duke's Report here, back to another video. And starting off week 5 is a matchup between the Buccaneers and the Falcons. This could be an interesting one for essentially the top two teams in this division. Now the Falcons, let's face it, they stole a win last week. They had no business winning that game against the Saints. They didn't score an offensive touchdown, but the Saints just kept making mistakes, and they essentially gave Atlanta the win. It's like, here, we don't want the win, you take it. Atlanta gladly did. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers, they had a convincing win against the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, they are still the best team in this division. They are still the team to beat. I'm going with them. Jets taking on Minnesota. For the New York Jets, it's a tough one right now. Last week, it wasn't great field condition. However, you're playing against a rookie quarterback and you're supposed to be a great defense. Well, the defense did show up. I mean, Bo Nix had -7 passing yards at the end of the first half. However, the offense couldn't do much, and they lost the game on a missed field goal at the end. It just seems like a game that they should have had easily, but they couldn't seal the deal. I'm going to go with Minnesota because right now this team is for real. They are 4-0. While there was a scare against Green Bay last week, there's still a lot of positives to take away from this team, including Sam Darnold playing like the 3rd overall pick that the Jets thought he would be. Yeah, I got to go Vikings. Carolina taking on Chicago. Carolina, they got to win. All right? That's something that they can say. They do have a win where other teams do not. Jacksonville. Anyway, there's not much more to say on this team. Last week, they never were in control of the game against the Bengals, even though they did have it by 2 scores. You never really thought that they could win this game. Meanwhile, for Chicago, that was a great win. That was a great win against the Rams, and Caleb Williams is starting to look like the #1 overall pick. Hopefully he can keep getting better. I'm going with the Bears. Ravens taking on the Bengals. For the Bengals, they got their first win of the season. They took advantage of playing the Panthers. They just played their brand of football, and they got the win. That's all that matters. They got over that first hump. Let's see if they can come back and be in contention for the playoffs again. And for the Ravens, what the heck was that on Sunday night? I mean, they just annihilated the Bills, who everybody thought was the second best team in the AFC. Maybe the best team in the AFC, and the Ravens just made them look like the Cleveland Browns of the mid-2010s. Wow. Just, wow. That was amazing. But division rival on the road, I'm still going to go Cincinnati. Buffalo taking on Houston. Houston, that was a great drive at the end of the game to come back and beat the Jaguars, but you had to come back and beat the Jaguars, who a lot of people have as the worst team in the NFL. I know they're division rivals. I know they are division rivals, but still, it's not a good look for a team that's looking to compete for a Super Bowl. And for the Bills, like I said, they just got annihilated on Sunday night, and they're just looking for a bounce-back week. I feel sorry for the Texans because the Bills are going to give them their all. Going with Buffalo. Indianapolis taking on Jacksonville. Jacksonville, they are still winless, and it just isn't looking good for them right now. There's not much more that you can say about this team that you can take away as a positive. I mean, they are just struggling right now, and you're wondering, can this team even get a win this year? And for Indianapolis, really good win against the Steelers. Joe Flacco, I mean, he has not lost his Raven way of beating the Steelers. He really hasn't. I'm going with Indianapolis over Jacksonville, regardless if it's going to be Richardson or Flacco that's playing at quarterback. Miami taking on New England. Yeah, there's not much more I can say about these teams. Miami, they could not do anything against Tennessee on Monday night. And for New England, I mean, they were playing the San Francisco 49ers, and even though the 49ers are made up, they are still a good team. I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Dolphins on this one, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Cleveland taking on Washington. Cleveland, you got some work to do. Oh, man, I just don't know what to say about this team. This team is baffling me right now because they should not be playing like they are to start this season. This is a extremely talented team, and I don't know why they're playing the way that they are. And it's beyond Deshaun Watson. The entire team is struggling at times. And for Washington, man, oh man, I really did not see that happening against the Cardinals, but man, Washington is good. Jane Daniels is good. This team right now might be the favorite in the NFC East. I mean, wow, what a turnaround so far for this team. I say they keep up the momentum. Give me Washington in this game. Raiders taking on the Broncos. For the Raiders, this is just a roller coaster team right now. Week 1, they're terrible. Week 2, they come back and get the Ravens. Week 3, they lose to the Panthers. And Week 4, they beat the Browns. You know, what's going on? Can you guys just be consistent at something this year? What's with the roller coaster? What's with the jumping emotions? I don't know. Meanwhile, for the Broncos, they've won their last 2. And I did mention the weather was not particularly well last week when they played the Jets. I'm still going to go with them over the Raiders. I'm going with the Broncos. Cardinals taking on the 49ers. For Arizona, I either underrated the Commanders or overrated the Cardinals. Either way, wasn't good on my part. For San Francisco, yes, they're dealing with injuries. However, if they can keep it together, just stack wins, they should be fine. I'm going with them over the Cardinals. Green Bay taking on the Rams. For Green Bay, ugly first half and a near comeback in the second half. They just couldn't get it done. They need a kicker, and we've known that for the last few years. Meanwhile, for the Rams, I don't know what more to really say on them. I mean, they're injured, and you have to wonder if they had the players that are injured, how different this team would look. Give me the Packers. Giants taking on the Seahawks. For the Giants, get in the end zone once and you win the game. That's not an exaggeration. That's what would have happened. You win the game if you had gotten into the end zone. That's what's frustrating. They had it against Dallas. They had control of the game, but they couldn't finish them off. Again, in the end zone just once, they probably win the game. And as for the Seahawks, yeah, rough loss on Monday night against the Lions, but I still like the Seahawks. I still think they're going to be very good, and I'm going with them over the Giants. Dallas taking on the Steelers. For Dallas, you know you stole one. All right? You stole the win against the Giants, and you know it. You absolutely know it. But now Micah Parsons is hurt. We don't know how long he's going to be out. He's your best defensive player. How do you respond? Especially to a Steelers team that has found their footing on offense. Even though they lost to the Colts, Justin Fields just played amazing in that game. He brought them back, and if it hadn't been for a botched snap where the center just snapped it when Fields was not ready, who knows what would have happened on that final drive. Who knows? The Steelers, they're finding their foot on offense, and with TJ Watt in that defense, they are starting to look like a complete team. I'm picking them over the Cowboys. And our Monday night game is going to be New Orleans taking on Kansas City. Kansas City, 4-0. But Rashee Rice is now out for the season. Torn ACL, brought on by his own quarterback. Wow. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has to be feeling so terrible right now. I mean, that's the worst feeling for any player, to accidentally injure your own player, especially since Rashee Rice was their #1 option in the receiving corps. Well, now Travis Kelce is going to have to overcome the slow start and show that he still has plenty of gas left in that tank. That's what he's going to have to do. Xavier Williams is going to have to step up because guess what? Marquise Brown is out for at least the regular season. So their top 2 targets for this season are out. One without even playing a game for them. But it's the Chiefs. I mean, we know they're going to be just fine. But meanwhile, for the Saints, yeah, I think we got a little too excited with the first 2 weeks, and now we're starting to see what this Saints team is really going to look like throughout this season. I'm going with the Chiefs. Alright guys, those are my picks for Week 5. And our bye weeks are going to be the Lions, the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Titans. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, I'll see you guys next time.